I would describe Bob in one word, and that's gentleman.
Very community-minded individual.
Bob gets things done.
I would describe Bob Cunningham as a dynamic force.
The way I feel about him, he's a man for all seasons.
First and foremost, he's a salesman.
Bob is a worthy, wonderful, and successful individual.
He's such a kind, generous man. It makes you want to be a better person.
He believes in the art of the possible, the art of the doable.
Well, I was born in Clandeboye in 1939. We had moved into the town of Clandeboye. The main reason was my father was involved in a very serious accident when I was 4. He accidentally ran over me with the back wheel of the farm tractor. It affected his life forever. We were 10 miles from the closest hospital. How they got me to the hospital, I'll never know, because we didn't have paramedics and ambulances like we do today. The skilled hands of a doctor and support staff saved my life. My first job was working in the local garage. I was 10 years old, and I was hired to sweep the floors and hang up the tools and just generally clean around there, and I got paid 50 cents a week. I continued on in the local grocery store and the elevator and delivering papers and working on farms. It was July the 7th. My father took me aside and said, "Son," he said, "you have to go to the city and get a job, send some money home to support the family." Before I left home, my dad said to me, he said, I want you to understand 2 things. I want you to be kind to people, and I want you to leave this world a better place than you found it when your time comes. So I've never forgotten that.
Volunteerism and community activism has changed a lot over the years. At one time, I think people were just expected to be involved in the community. Times have changed, but I think if someone looks to Bob Cunningham as an example and is prepared to give back to the community, the rewards are tremendous.
I think he sees the value of it. I think he sees the value of when you go after a cause or a challenge. He just sees the end. He sees the end not easily, but how to get there, how to lead it, how to work with people, whether it be fundraising or anything else for that matter. I really believe he sees the value of being community-minded.
He understands that to be a successful businessman, you got to be involved in the community. And I don't mean that it's profit motivated to be involved in charities. That's not the point. It's just that he understands what it's like to be a significant part of a community, not just in a business sense, but in another sense, the fundraising sense. And the fact that he's good at it makes it even a greater advantage.
I believe it was 30 years ago that I met Bob Cunningham. And the circumstances were he was part of the team that helped me get elected as mayor. Not once, but twice. And I'm not so sure that people understand how many people the mayor has to go to ask for help to make our city so successful and such a great place. And Bob Cunningham, every time I would go to see him or phone him up and say, "Bob, I need your help," his answer was, "What can I do to help?"
People have asked me why I'm involved in the community as much as I am, and in particular with capital campaigns. I find that people in Manitoba for sure, but I've found people in general are generous, and I'm not one to push for large money. There are times when you need larger contributions, but I find that no gift is too small. Well, I guess if you go back to when I was a child and the accident that happened, I mean, I shouldn't be here, but even being here, I could have been crippled, but I do feel blessed. I really do.
Bob is a good example of what a citizen should do. That if when you are able to give of your time for these different organizations, you learn a great deal, you develop, you meet a lot of wonderful people, and it's just a way of life to be involved. There are just so many organizations that wouldn't function if they didn't have extra funds. And so to keep the wheel going in our city, that's the way to do it, is give of your time, give of your finance, whatever, but give.
When Bob puts his hand to something, I don't think failure is an option. Doesn't very often take no for an answer. And there are an awful lot of people in the fundraising business who are tentative. Asking people for money is not, it's not the easiest thing to do.
He's very community oriented, and so he knows a lot of people, so that helps. But a lot of people know a lot of people and are not good fundraisers, okay? I remember once he told me, I said, Bob, when you do fundraising, you get lots of no's. And how do you go home at night and sleep with all these no's? Is, Jerry, you have to understand, no is only one step on the way to yes. And the more no's you get, the closer you are to being yes. Well, see, to me, no means go home and forget about it. So that's the difference in our personalities. So he knows a lot of people, he's good at it. But something else, and a lot of people don't think about this, when you're a guy like Bob, and you do a lot of asks, you get asked back. All right, that's it's kind of the problem if you like being a fundraiser. You don't get off scot-free. You're going to get asked for money yourself. And Bob always reciprocates. That's what makes it work. So he's known as a generous guy for obvious reason, but he's just very good at getting people to say yes.
He's got a very soft approach, but he often says to me that no actually means maybe. So that's his approach to that. I think it comes down to the fact that he cares about the cause. In my experience with our capital campaign, what I've learned is you have to believe in the cause. You have to want the organization to do more in the community. And Bob is one of those people that when he agrees to serve, he does so because he's passionate about the cause and knows that the fundraising effort is needed. And he gives it his 110%, and he's very effective because of that. But I think it comes down to believing in the cause.
He wants the best for people in every area of life. So if he sees an opportunity to help, I think that's where it comes from, is wanting to see people grow and succeed and be happy.
Bob has told me on a number of occasions that he comes from very humble beginnings. I think he recognized from a young age that there's no free lunch, that you have to work hard for everything you get in life. I think regardless of what your financial means are or what wealth you've accumulated, it's not going to buy you, manners or common sense or loyalty or respect or integrity or love and support of family and friends. And I think Bob really recognized that from a very early age. And so he's never really lost touch with what was important in life.
It was the middle of winter, and he was donating hundreds of brand new winter jackets to those in need. I thought, my God, what a wonderful story. And I felt so privileged or honored to know him, because I just met him a couple months ago. So I felt compelled to give him a call, and she took my message. And when she asked me who I was, I didn't know how to introduce myself. So for lack of a better description, I just said to her that I was his niece, Maggie. I later got a call back, and he goes, Maggie, is your Uncle Bob calling?
Well, we've had a pretty successful run. Been in business 56 years, and to have my children working in the business. My son, Rob, is president. My daughter, Bonnie, worked in the business. My wife, Irene, she worked in the business after the children were in school. So being able to work with family is important. At one time, we had the office furniture business, which we talked about. And at the same time, we had a liquidation business, buying and selling anything and everything. We had a lumber yard called Totem Lumber. And I got involved in real estate. The real estate was interesting. We started buying buildings and filling them with tenants. And I used to own the Winnipeg roller rink as one, which not too many people know about.
I unloaded a lot of trailers of different stuff, whether it was a trailer load of canned beans or trailer load of insulation. I was driving a forklift when I was 9 years old, unloading lumber in our lumber yard, lots of different things.
You know, to receive an award for something that you do willingly in the community is sometimes difficult to understand. And yet my wife Irene and I have attended many dinners honoring people, and we've always been there to support them and shake their hand and give them a hug and thank them. I guess it's my turn, and I wasn't expecting it.
The most asked question that I get in my life is, how's your dad? Which is pretty cool. He's got a lot of friends in the community, and our family are very proud of him. It's been fun to be part of his life. When people are interested in someone, you know that he's well liked and well respected.
To receive the Pro McGonigal Life Achievement Award from the Grace Hospital is very special. Oh, it just makes me feel so humble. Yeah, makes me feel very humble to receive the award.
No one will ever be quite like him. He's a unique individual. He is really an outstanding candidate for us. He's a strong supporter of Grace Hospital. Are you a fan? Yes, I am. I'm the president of the fan club.